More leaked emails in connection to the accusations against Manchester City for cheating, doctoring, and of course, financially doping their accounts to enable them to build these bigger and stronger squads that have accumulated many trophies, many titles over the years. We're going to delve into these emails that have been leaked, these emails that have been revealed by some major mainstream media outlets. We're also going to take a look at City fans that are out here in force defending their club. We understand why, but are they misguided? And also, will this situation, or has this situation handed the Premier League title to Arsenal? We're going to delve into that and much, much more on the Football Terrace. Smash the like and the share button. But up first, more leaked emails in connection to the alleged cheating by Man City. Let's go. It's been a horrible 48 hours for Manchester City fans, and this isn't going away anytime soon. Totally understand the club is going to fight its corner, it's going to defend itself and try and clear its name, and we'll move on to that later. But more leaked emails. Now, these have been published by a major and verified German outlet, Der Spiegel, translate to the Mirror. And these are available on the internet. We've supplied a link in the description below, so you can go and check out this 67-page dossier in relation to this. You can see here in this email, it's from it's in relation to a third party involved in sponsoring money provided by Etihad, the airline, and Man City say no to this. But in 2011, an airline employee said that the government agency executive affiliate authority, the EAA, provided 2/3 of the sponsorship total instead of the money coming directly from Etihad Airlines. And this has been accused of the club many times. We saw yesterday sponsors not having their money paid to them directly via them. This is another accusation of that today. There's a further email, as you can see here on the screen. And this is essentially a role connected to the City board member, Simon Pearce, who also worked as a consultant for the Abu Dhabi leadership at the time. So he was part of a consultancy team for the Abu Dhabi leadership, and he was on the Manchester City board simultaneously. It appears it was a big one. In January of 2013, he told a City manager to send an invoice to Etihad, the airline, and that the airline was prepared to pay. He says, "I understand that that you know that you now have the money." So this is a very interesting element here, asking a sponsor to pay money directly. This third one here is in relation to Etihad again. It says, did Etihad only pay £8 million itself from a £100 million sponsorship deal? Only £8 million of a 199 million, if I'm going to be absolutely accurate, deal was paid allegedly by Etihad Airlines. And you move here and go further forward. There's so many of these that you can see. There's so many of these that you'll come across. But here's another that says, in the summer of 2015, the summary of this shows how Pearce made money City was receiving from companies based in Abu Dhabi. According to the summary, the companies only paid a small portion of the purported sponsorship sums again. So only 1.5 million of a total fee owed of 13.5 million. What we know at this stage, the media outlet has reached out and neither Man City or the sponsors responded to a request for comment. But just as with yesterday, there's multiple emails, and there's a really good summary here on the screen that breaks it down, but essentially details the facts that there is huge discrepancies in or what sponsors have paid versus what they should have paid. And the biggest one is it appears to show that Man City received 99 million pounds supposedly from Etihad Airways, but the airline themselves only paid 8 million pounds, as we alluded to. And I think that, of course, City are going to come out and defend themselves. Of course, they're going to give an explanation behind this. But there's a 67-page dossier of these leaked emails. When you go through the dossier, there's headed paper from Man City and much, much more. Now, a media outlet has put this out there. They are claiming that they believe it to be true. That's down to you to make your mind up on. But this does not look good for Manchester City in any way, in any shape, or in any form. In fact, it's pretty damn shocking that this amount of emails have been linked. And the kind of, I don't know whether to call it a smoking gun, but the element that stands out to me as being worrying is the fact that City have briefed the media and stated they believe an ex-employee has turned informant. But if you're not doing anything wrong, what is there to inform on? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that, people. Hit the like and the share buttons. Up next, let's listen to what this Man City fan had to say.
I don't think we're getting a fair shake of the stick. I mean, one of the charges is related to an alleged payment to Roberto Mancini. Chelsea, who got in before FFP, 5 years before us, and then started pulling up the drawbridge, they spent 160 million sacking managers, but we're not allowed to pay our manager a little bit extra.
See, this is the element of this that's frustrating me. No, you're not. Anybody that broke FFP rules before FFP was invented, there's no issue with it. You know, if I'm driving, if there's a road that has a speed limit of 50 miles an hour and I do 45 miles an hour down it, I haven't broke the law. If the next week they reduce the speed limit to 30, I can't get a speeding fine for when I drove under the previous limit. It's absolute crazy talk.
Because we're not allowed to spend money that has been put into the club, just like Roman Abramovich did.
That doesn't make any sense, Joe. That's not the allegation that's being made against you. Whataboutery isn't an answer. They've paid managers off, and what you are being alleged is you had a parallel contract. You had Mancini being paid for by Man City, and then another contract that was part of his contract with Man City, but wasn't being featured on their balance sheet, being paid somewhere else. That's a completely different discussion.
And that there, like Simon Jordan, of course, when it comes to the business side of things, listen, supremely educated on this, and he's right. This is not about whether it's whether you morally agree with what City have done or not. This isn't a case of morals. It's a case of, is it against the rules? And they were paying Mancini money that wasn't coming directly from the football club. But his contract with Man City said he was on, I don't know, 14 million a year, but only 10 million a year was coming from the club. The other 4 million was being paid by a different organization. That is against FFP rules. And I'm still a little bit unsure why this is such a struggle for City fans to get their head around. You may not agree with FFP. You may think a lot of them think there's a witch hunt by the Premier League to get them. The Premier League is essentially the 19 other clubs. What is the witch hunt? I need City fans to make me understand, what is the witch hunt against them? Why would do City fans really believe, and I want to ask this, that FFP was invented purely to stop them from being successful? I need to know your thoughts on that. Let's take a look here at what Arsene Wenger's had to say.
Players, yes.
They bought all my players. They did.
I said you said financial doping. Do you think?
No, I think this is a deep question. You know, I think sport is basically to win by respecting the rules. That's what it is about. We celebrate all the best in every sport, but we want to know that they respect the rules. If there's no respect for the rules, it's not real sport. So that's what...
I couldn't agree with Wenger more there. And this clip's been doing the rounds today, and I saw it and thought to myself, he's spot on. I don't agree with every element of FFP. I think there should be control to stop bad ownership, like the Glazers. And I think they should probably allow a little bit more investment from owners. But the most important thing is to ensure that clubs are not spending beyond their means. That clubs are not spending beyond the valuation of their club. They're not spending beyond the turnover of their club. They're not creating debts that there is no chance of ever paying off. If this was allowed to happen over the last 10 to 12 years with the new money that's coming to football, We have absolutely no idea of the damage and the long-term damage that could have been done to many, many clubs. And as I stated yesterday on the Straight Fact Show, these types of regulations, I get why City will feel like it's been brought in to hurt them. Chelsea fans may have felt like that under Roman. PSG probably felt the same thing. But that's because you were fortunate enough to win the lottery and have owners that were willing to spend whatever was necessary to take you forward. But I also think you're being short-sighted because you may have been fortunate enough. You're one of the fortunate clubs to have got billionaire owners that have come in and run you well. But speak to, and look, Man City, they're now looked at as a big club, but when they were taken over, they were not looked at as a big club. Speak to the fans of Aston Villa. Speak to fans of QPR, Leyton Orient. Just to name a few, and there's probably more out there that I don't even know about or thought about, where billionaires have come in, pumped money in to begin with, then pulled the plug on the situation. FFP is needed. Does it need reform? Yes. Could it be better? But this notion that it was invented purely to damage City and support Man United and to support Liverpool Football Club, in my opinion, is an absolute nonsense. Now, make sure you're hitting likes and share buttons and you're scanning that QR code on the screen. I wanted to ask a question, but I wanted to play this clip, actually, from TalkSport, Laura Woods. Has this situation handed Arsenal the league, is my question to you. Take a look.
Watching all of this play out, is that going to get in your mind at all?
I don't think so, no. I think the current players will be thinking, I'm just going to concentrate on my football. And then if this does happen and they do get point deduction or relegated at worst case scenario or Pep leaves, then some of the players have big decisions to make, won't they? If they want to leave and go somewhere else. But
see, look, Gabriel Bonglahor, I think it's a great question from Laura Woods. Great question. Bonglahor, he's kind of been on Arsenal's back all year. So I don't expect him to say anything that would be positive towards Arsenal. But this is going to damage Man City this season. Pep and the players can publicly state they're focused and they're concentrating and they're happy. They're not. There is no way with this looming over them, any of them can concentrate. Will my titles be taken away? They'll be seeing these leaked emails. They'll be listening to what fans are saying. And look, Man City fans are out there defending them right now. But I would say 95% of Man City fans are cacking themselves. Publicly, they're going to stand by their club for now until more is revealed. But these players are going to lose concentration. They're already being, by their standards, poor this year. Title chasing standards, I think they've been poor. City will fall away. There's a big chance that Arsenal win this league anyway. I believe this is handing Arsenal the league. And I don't mean to take anything away from Arsenal at all. The amount of points they've won, the amount of games they've won, they deserve to be where they are right now. But City's resilience will break because of this. On top of Arsenal already hurting them, on top of already being behind them in the league, I do think this will be the final nail in the coffin this season. There's already players there that are unhappy that want to leave. There's already players there that aren't feeling it this year. This is just going to almost give them that get out of jail free card, that excuse in their minds. City will fall back to a point where I think they may even fall behind Manchester United into third place. They'll finish inside the top four, but I do believe Arsenal will be crowned champions, and part of it will be connected to this. The players, I don't know how the players are meant to concentrate when you've got the Premier League clubs want the verdict before the end of this season, and they are pushing very hard in the internal meetings. They're putting a lot of pressure on that happening. And on top of that, taken from the Telegraph today, there are big talks. Some outlets have played this down, but there are big talks that Man City could potentially play in non-league football if they are kicked out the Premier League, because the EFL have no requirements to accept them into any of their leagues. Now, this again is worst case scenario, but all good businesses plan for worst case scenarios. You can't just go, it'll probably be a 10-point slap on the wrist and they'll let us go. No one quite knows yet, because we've seen these leaked emails, but the true nature of these problems have not been revealed. Just in the leaked emails alone, I've managed to count up over £250 million of sponsorship money that appears to have been paid into the club in breach of regulations and rules. If then that number keeps growing and that number keeps rising, the Premier League clubs are going to push back hard against it, especially clubs that are doing things the right way. This is going to get into the heads of these Man City players, in my opinion. There's no doubt about it. How could it not? But as ever, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. Big reveals on this today. I understand City fans defending their football club, but do you really think There is a witch hunt out there to get Man City. Hit the like and the share button, subscribe to the Football Terrace, and we'll see you all again soon. Thank you.